Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be, you know how I did that video about when to expect your first snowfall? Now I'm doing a video on when to expect your first major snowfall. And this one is basically what qualifies as a major snowfall. Well, basically, obviously, the more south you go, the less amounts the snowstorm has to have in order to classify as major. I mean, if it snows in Alabama, any part in Alabama, and it's 3 inches, that's considered a major event. But if it snows, 3 inches up north, it's not really major, not considered major. But to make it uniform, to kind of even things out for the northern sections, basically anywhere north of central Missouri, just basically if you were to divide the U.S. in half from north to south, anywhere north of that line, which would probably be around the Kentucky area, north of that, that Kentucky area, Louisiana. I'm getting lost here. Sorry, just around the Kentucky area, anywhere north, it would be considered around 5 inches of major snowfall, and anywhere south would be considered 3 or 2 inches of major snowfall. And some locations may not even get a major snowfall in the south this year. They may not even get snow at all. So this is a little bit different. I have never done this before, but hopefully you like it. So consider subscribing to this channel. Consider liking this video. All you gotta do is hit that red subscribe button, and you are subscribed to this channel. And and it really helps this channel grow. Really helps me out a lot. So I really appreciate that if this, if you would do that. So let's start off. Basically, I forgot to edit this, but actually no, this is fine. So we will be looking at the ENSO outlook, NOAA seasonal outlook, and my fall temperature outlook, which I did a couple of months earlier or a couple of weeks earlier. I think it's been a month maybe. This is going to be the same information that I used for when to see your first snowfall, because it incorporates a lot of the cold and the precipitation events that will be occurring that still could be applied to your first major snowfall. So the average first snowfall map, I actually deleted that. I took it away from this. I already showed you on a previous video. We won't be really spending time on that because I want to make this video not too long, but I don't want to rush it either. But here are the sea surface temperature anomalies as of August 30th, so not that old. If we were to look at them right now, they're basically very similar. And what we notice first off is a neutral ENSO, or an El Nino southern oscillation, occurring in the Pacific Ocean. This means cooler temperatures right here. This is a La Nina, and warmer temperatures out further in the Pacific. So that is more of an El Nino, but they're kind of trying to fight it out, and it's a neutral. That's what the NOAA and National Weather Service has identified it as, in neutral patterns. So I'll show you what a neutral winter pattern means and fall pattern means in just a minute, and the impacts it will have on the snow. But I also want to point out, while we are at this image, that these warm waters right here are creating a high pressure, which is in part or caused by the warm waters, which cause the warm air to rise, and that creates a dome of warm air that creates a high pressure. And storms naturally have trouble going through high pressures that are strong like this. I mean, this is a really warm area of water, very warm, this Gulf of Alaska. This will be a major player since the high pressure spin clockwise, and it steers any jet stream, any storms that are remotely trying to get near it, up to the north, and then it tries equaling itself out, like I've explained several days ago and already several times, that if you pull a rubber band, you're holding, say a rubber band is in between two sticks, and it's it's taut, I mean it's tight, and you pull on it and you let go, it won't just jump right back to the same place. It will go the other way and then go back and then smaller increments until it stays the same. This is what the jet stream is going to do. It tries going back to its original position, but while it does, it kind of brings in chillier temperature. It makes the swing down to the south, and with that, it brings chillier temperatures. And by the time it goes to Europe, it could even out a little bit. But it's dependent on the strength of this high pressure and what's in this ocean as well. But for the United States, it most likely would bring chillier temperatures for much of the country, and that's what it seems that would be what's occurring right now. A example of when this wouldn't occur is right now what's happening in the next 10 to 15 days. We're going to be seeing a series of several large storms go through the northern central U.S. and that will lead to this jet stream, trying to bring in the cool air from this high pressure of warm air, but then it goes up and it encompasses much of the United States in warm temperatures. So it's, it's not always going to be cold because of that. It's more prone to being cold during the winter time. And this is what an enso neutral, this is what the predictions are. This is what the percentages are. You can see 65 to 70%. This was updated 8th of August. They will be updating that very soon, this upcoming Thursday. Right now it is Saturday, September 7th, so they'll be updating it this upcoming Thursday. But I guarantee you they won't really change it much in terms of the fall period, and that's what we're looking at, because most first major snowfalls occur around that late fall time frame and early winter, which we will also factor in, but you could still see at least into early winter a El Nino's enso neutral is most likely to occur, and this will definitely impact us in several ways. So again, this is just the confidence of the models. You can see one is showing a La Nina, couple are showing an El Nino, but at least again through December it seems fairly confident that there will be a neutral. So what does a neutral mean for the United States? Sorry, this is very blurry, I apologize. This image was kind of expanded over, a small image expanded over a large area, so it equates to not that good, kind of pixelated. And if you were able to read this, it would say enso neutral winter pattern. So this applies since many major snowfalls, first snowfalls occur in the winter time for quite a good chunk of the area. I would say anywhere south of, let's say here's the border with Canada, anywhere south of this area. Major snowfalls will probably occur in December, which is the winter already meteorologically. Meteorologically, winter starts December 1st. But in these areas, we have to look at what the impacts are for fall neutral, or a neutral pattern, but for fall. But first, let's look at the cold, or at the winter ones. You can see cold across the eastern U.S., especially the north, or especially the east, I should rather say. And sometimes this jet stream, this polar jet stream right there, could dig down way further to the south and bring much colder conditions. But it can't do it too far if you want snow, because see this wet and warm conditions, you need to align it perfectly with this subtropical jet stream to develop a storm, and then the storm rides up the east coast and it taps into the cold air and produces snow. That could be a first major snowfall for many across the Northeast. So we got to take that into account. And now this is what I don't have a graphic like this for what the fall impacts are of a neutral pattern, but I do have a anomaly graph of what an anomaly of many years, so kind of like an analog with temperatures that were from August through November recorded in all these years were neutral falls like we have this fall. And you can see that they averaged out to being rather chilly across most of the East Coast and the Northeast as well. While the West was a little bit warmer, not by much, but it was still warm and noticeable. So that is that to say with the neutral for the fall. And again, if you got like a system coming in from the west, warm west air, and we tapped in this cold air, it could turn over to snow, it could produce the first major snowfall prematurely across the north and the east. This is what the 1.5. This is valid for September. At this point, they have changed this. This is a little bit outdated. This was made in July 18th, and this was supposed to be what the predictions are for September 2019. And you can see they're showing above average conditions for most of the country, but this is not September. This is September, October, November. I was reading that along. I apologize. Yeah, because that wouldn't make sense if it was just September. Snow doesn't really occur in September, let alone a major snowfall. This is for September, October, November, the 3-month average, the NOAA, what it has to say. And I'm going to tell you out right now, guys, this is absolutely bogus. This is almost 95%, bound to be wrong. And the reason for that is because they just put something on this graph just for a filler, kind of. And then once it gets around a half a month or a month in advance, which we are at right now, it would change. So right now it probably is already different. And I said this in July that this would be different, and I keep saying it now. So this is not really much to look at. And then finally, I want to show you my fall temperature outlook. The reason I included my fall temperature outlook is because for a good chunk of the northern country, it occurs, and major snowfalls could occur in the fall. And you can see it's below average for a good chunk of the Midwest and northern plains. While it's slightly out now, the increase is to just below average for Kansas, Nebraska, northeastern Wyoming, eastern Montana, all those areas in this blue. I would increase that, to just below average, and this I would say slightly below average, maybe not including the Northwest. So now looking at this map, we could see that there's many different colors, and I will be, showing you this, telling you which color means what it means one by one. So the darkest black, or the darkest color, almost like a black purple right here, that is, I think, gonna be early October. I think there could be some snowstorms that will occur, and it will be pretty major for these areas. Notice how I also included parts of the Northwest, Idaho, Montana, parts of the Cascadia Mountains, and then parts of Rockies in Colorado. Also parts of the Northeast could be also seeing some early October. Then this is the mid-October time frame. This purple, I think we could definitely start seeing some big snowfalls around mid-October for these areas. This area here, it also extends across the inner portion of New York. I think that we'll also be seeing around this is around late October. Now this lighter blue, or this darker blue, will be, you can see it also from the west, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, into Michigan, into southern Wisconsin, central Wisconsin. I think that will be early November. Definitely some first major snowfalls, possibly over 3, 4, 5 inches of snow definitely occurring at this time. And basically the main gist of this whole map is, I think I accelerated, or I know I accelerated many of the first major snowfall. When you like here in Chicago, you'd normally expect the first major snowfall late November, early December, and I think this year it will be mid November to early November. So I accelerated in many of these areas and slowed it down in the west. I think it will be a little bit slower than usual because it will be warmer in the west, cooler in the east, with above average precip in the east more likely. And so yeah, that is early November. This is mid November. I have in this light blue, and this is kind of late November, December. Late November, December timeframe, this lighter blue, and that includes New York, Washington, D.C. I think by December, they should be definitely seeing some major snowfalls. And in this pink is kind of January, February. I think they will see a major snowfall this year. It's just that it will be delayed, delayed. Just around January, should start, around average, you should start seeing their first major snowfalls. Which I think this year will occur again. And then in these areas, I just basically put... I just put possible, maybe we'll see a major snowfall, maybe not, depends on how this sets up, but it's, it's a possibility. So thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.